Thank you again for working with me to develop your estate plan. I sincerely appreciate your faith and your confidence in me. What I'd like to talk about now is funding the trust. One of the last things that we spoke about when we met was funding the trust, and we went through what we call the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet laid out the three main areas of assets: non-qualified assets, life insurance, and tax-qualified assets. I want to briefly go through those with you again to make certain that you're following through. A non-qualified asset: checking, savings, CD, money market, brokerage accounts. These are things you have already paid the tax on. We need you to change the ownership of these accounts into the name of the trust. Remember, if it's not titled to the trust does not control these assets. In order for this plan to work the way I described, you got to retitle these assets. And this is not something I can do for you. I've retitled your real estate. If you had real estate, we completed what was called a trust transfer deed. I have taken care of that for you. You need to speak to your bank, to your brokerage house. You change title, change ownership of these accounts. In the large majority of instances, this will not be opening a new account, but changing the existing account, which means the routing number and the account number remain the same. No interruption to your automated transactions. Your mortgage will still be paid, your paycheck will still get deposited. The second category that we talked about was life insurance. Life insurance came in two subcategories: personal life insurance and your group life insurance. On your personal life insurance, we want you to change both owner and beneficiary to the trust. On your group insurance, you change the beneficiary to the trust. Please remember, do not name your spouse as the beneficiary. Often I hear statements, well, the spouse is just the beneficiary of the trust, so why wouldn't we just send it directly to the spouse? A couple of reasons. Number one, your spouse may lack capacity at the time when you pass away. If they're incapacitated, they inherit that money, we have some large problems. Secondly, they could predecease you, and now we don't have any backup plans in place. Third, they inherit the money, but they die shortly thereafter, and they haven't completed their own forms yet. When we send the property to the trust, all of those problems are eliminated. So please name your trust as the beneficiary on your life insurance. Remember, there is no taxable event from life insurance. It is not income. So it's no harm, no foul to send it through to the trust. The trust has all of our backup plans. The third category, tax qualified assets. These are things you have not yet paid income tax on. Primarily IRAs, 401ks, but it could also be deferred comp, restricted stock units, anything that's tax deferred. These assets are not owned by the trust. They must be owned by the individual. Not, if you're a married couple, it's not jointly owned, it's individually owned. You always name your spouse as the beneficiary. So if you're married, if you're in a domestic relationship, you name your partner, you name your spouse as the beneficiary. They have the benefit of utilizing rollover, maintaining the tax-deferred status of the account. Also, our spouse pays a lower tax rate than the trust. These are taxable assets. They have not yet been taxed, so this is a very important component. You name your spouse as the primary beneficiary. Now, depending upon your family's individual specifics, you're either going to name your trust as the successor, the contingent beneficiary, or you will name your children as the contingent beneficiary. We spoke individually about that, and on the cheat sheet, I wrote specific notes unique to your situation. If it names the trust, if the cheat sheet says that we're going to name the trust as the successor beneficiary, you need to make certain that you've contacted the company that holds these IRAs, 401ks, and make the change. If the notes indicate that these assets would pass directly to your children after your spouse, go ahead and just reaffirm that those are the choices that you made. These are all very important aspects, and again, if you don't follow through, this plan is not going to work the way I had described it to you. I want to thank you again for your faith and your confidence in me. Thank you so much for working with me. If you like what I do, if you like the way that I do it, please tell somebody else. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker. Your referral means the world to me. If you have other questions on this, you're welcome to call me, you're welcome to email me, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thanks again.